judiciary, okay, and we have legislative body. Now, if you look at our constitution generally, before 1999 constitution, under the 1979 constitution, the constitution that we can call the fourth presidential constitution, or the constitution that actually amplified federalism.
Yes,
if you look at it, when that constitution was modified in 1999 to give us the 1999 constitution, and that they return to democracy, almost everyone has been agitating, canvassing for state policing. However, there are impediments to this.
Okay.
If you look at the constitution under section 214, the constitution provides that there shall be a police for Nigeria to be known as Nigerian Police Force. That is section 214. If you go further to section 215, that provides for the office of the Inspector General of Police. If you take section 216, that is talking about the Nigerian Police Council. So from that angle, there is no provision that allows for state police. But how it works is this. Under federalism, each state is supposed to have their own state police. And that is what we have been saying, that if we are to practice the true federalism, if we are to practice fiscal federalism as obtainable in other jurisdictions, like the United States of America, there is nothing bad for each state of the Federation of Nigeria to have its own state police. However, without amending the Constitution, without amending section 214 of the Constitution, without amending section 215 of the Constitution, without amending section 216 of the Constitution, the issue of state police is a no-go area. And that is why I'm commending the sponsors of the bill that is ongoing at the National Assembly, especially at the Queen's Chamber, who I learned the reading they are now on their second reading.
Yes.
So, to me, under a democratic government, and under a democracy that is practicing federalism, state police is long overdue. Someone cannot sit down in Abuja in the name of the IGP, Inspector General of Police, though he has commissioners in each state, who will be overseeing the affairs of the security architecture in Bamawe, Gombe State, or Maiduguri, or Zamfara. It will be very, very difficult. And don't forget that Nigeria is a very difficult terrain. We are talking about the most populous nation in the entire Africa.
That's right.
Probably the most populous in the Black World. For us to have just one police, the IGP and the commissioner, I think canvassing and having state police will help in many ways. The issue of security in Nigeria now is a big problem.
It is.
Right from the time of our former president, who happened to be our father, late, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, to the era of Chief late Yar'Adua, Jonathan, we have been having security problems. But my fear is this. Well, I pray that the bill will scale through so that we have state police. But the next question of fear is this. Are we sure that politicians will not manipulate and use them for their own advantage? That is the debate for another time.
Before we talk about your fears, because I'm definitely going to have you tell us about your fears as a professional in this field. Yes.
Thank you very much.
When this particular state policing, I think the cause, I would like to say that the reason why it's been difficult so far is because there was no provision in the Constitution we operated before now. And that is understandable because Nigeria of 30 years ago is not the same Nigeria we have now. So I want you to take us through it. Why does it feel like it's difficult? Are there no certain provisions that could make this easier, especially the fact that it's going to provide solution to insecurity as a challenge in the nation?
Well, as students of history, let me just give a little background to what we had between 1912 and 1957. That will establish why it appears so difficult. You know, under the 1912, when the issue of constitutional development started in Nigeria. Our first constitution, the Democracy Constitution of 1922, you know, we are new. That was the constitution that introduced democracy in court, because the first political party, NNPC or something, was formed in 1923. Until the Richard Constitution that introduced federalism, that's the Constitution of 1946, which introduced regional government. Under that 1946 Constitution, each region was managing its resources, its security architecture, police and what have you. Until the 1957 Constitution, which we call the Federal Constitution of, I think after Richard, we have the Matheson and the Littleton. After the Federal Constitution, the issue of what happened between 1960 and 1962 Operation Welfare and what have you, when some people use the machinery of the state in their favor, has created a lot of fear in the mind of the people. And by the time we now have our own indigenous Federal Constitution of 1979, the issue of state policing or state police, as it may sound, did not arise under that constitution. So also we inherited the norms, the values, the tenets of 1979 Constitution under 1999 Constitution. And 1999 Constitution was so carved in such a way that our own type of federalism is so powerful at the center. And this has been part of the agitation. Make the central less powerful. Give power to the states. Give power to the regions. Let them manage their affairs. Of course, I will be so happy if the issue of state police succeeds now, because in future I'll be expecting other issues that they can face, such as resource control, to come in. Now, the issue why state police is so difficult is that constitutional amendment is set as difficult procedure.
Yes.
That even after the House of Reps has finished their own, it has to go to Senate, all the states have to give approval, and the issue is this: if the two-thirds majority of the state, I mean state assemblies, are saying no to the amendment, it will be a natural death. So some of these technicalities and things are there. And that is why some of us have been saying the entire constitution that we keep on amending and amending. Why can't we have constitutional conference and have a new constitution? Because we had argued several times that it is not autonomous. It was given to us by military. But the issue of state police now, we are talking about security. Just of recent, thank God for the Ogun State Command of the Nigerian police and the police architecture. You know the kidnapping that happened along Shagamu, now Ijebu-Odo, and the police, they try their best. If you have a state police in which the people, okay, from the region, somebody is being transferred all the way from Zamfara to Ogun State, he won't know the terrain, he won't know where to go and where not to go. Somebody is coming from Maiduguri or Sokoto to come and work in Ogun State. So when you have a state police in which the indigents are recruited into the police, they should be able to tell who and who is involved
and how
their neighbor.
I do agree with you. You're making a lot of sense. But I want you to look at this angle again. Are you there, sir?
I'm with you.
You know, when we talk about state policing, it also implies that a lot of financing and accountability has to come in check. And, you know, some of this responsibility would be left for the state to handle. Now, considering that Nigeria has 36 states, do you see that as a challenge, as some sort of challenge that could pose a threat to the successful reading of this?
I am not seeing it as a challenge, and I'll give three main reasons. What we are saying is that immediately we have state police or state policing, okay, as an act, the entire workforce of the Nigerian police will be crashed. In other words, since we have state police, of course, you know the workforce, the number of people needed at the Nigerian police force will reduce drastically. The issue is this: the allocation to the Nigerian police, of course, will come down. So what will be given to states from the allocation for security votes, which with due respect, on there, some of the governors have been using this for their service means and for what have you. We have the resources, but the willpower, okay, is what we are lacking. Who is going to do is what we are lacking. And mind you, some of these things that we are saying, sometimes they end up in private or individual pockets. The resources to do it is not a challenge. Reduce the number of the personnel in the National Nigerian Police Force, crash them or recruit them, or second them, let me use the language of labor law, second them to the state police. And the resources, what they are getting at the national body before, reallocate some of these resources to the state police so that there will be a synergy between the national and the state. This is my belief, and this is what I think should. And apart from that, you know, even now that we are talking, we have many other what look like police in some states. Lagos alone, you have LASMA, you have this, you have that. So we say we have trains, we have vigilante, we have what do they call it?
Amoteku.
There are many. Amoteku, we have there is another one. So say, why don't you take some of these personnel, those who qualify by merit, those who have the knowledge, the certificate, recruit them into the state police, pay them, and the security work will be done. Rather than having a national police that, as even we are talking now, I can tell you that things are not working security-wise. We need something to be done. Go to civilized society. I'm not saying they are not civilized. Go to America, go to Switzerland, go to other places where they are having, go to India, where they are having federalism. The state should be able to decide certain things. And don't forget, the governor is the chief security officer of the state. If the governor cannot give directive to the commissioner of police in his state, what are we saying about security? Governor is saying there is a security challenge at Onikolobo. The commissioner has to take the directive from Abuja, from the IGP force, before you act. That is not going to be the position of the state police. Because the state police means the governor of the state is the number one chief security officer, and the commissioner of police, or whoever is in charge, will be answerable to him. However, there should be checks and balances.
Yes.
Of course, you say you come to my fear. Because if there are no checks and balances, we know human beings for who we are. Even the Bible says, even God, nobody can even predict the mind of man.
Yes.
So, putting all these machineries in place, I don't think the resources, what we need, whether personnel-wise, whether capital-wise, is going to be a challenge. The challenge now is the willpower. It's the will of the people in government to see to the provision of the police that we are using now. That government is to protect lives and property. And in doing that, we have to bring policing to the nearest door. And that will be occasion, that will happen through the machinery of the state police. That's my submission.
And then let's talk about accountability, which I think a lot of Nigerians want right now, especially from the Nigerian police. There have been a lot of ugly scenarios, a lot of ugly situations that Nigerians have had to face. Most of them you see on the internet. Some people experience them personally or from people around. Now, the introduction of state police, is this not like an extension of what has been happening in the society? Or there could be measures at which we can put this state police to at check, especially in the case of accountability?
Well, let me say this. Every lawyer believes in what we call the enabling law. There is a concept we call enabling law. State police cannot just come on board without an enabling law. Of course, immediately the constitution is amended to put out having state police. Each state of the federation, the state assembly will be given power to make laws, and that law will enable the functionality, the accountability, the operational modus operandi, or the mechanism for which the state police will operate. Now, the issue of accountability is made because someone has to be, okay, at the end of affair.
Yes.
The question is which law? There will be laws that will be enacted to monitor and control them. There will be code of conduct for them too. There will be the issue of, we have the Nigerian Police Council now. Of course, we are going to have the State Police Council. And people will be there, okay, who will be at the end of affair to see how things go. I don't think that should be one of the fears that we have now. I believe vividly that when we get to the brink, we'll cross it. But Nigerians, for who we are, I must say this on there, that if we are going to have something that will be operational, something that will represent the minds of the people, something that will be a bit different from what we used to have. I think there should be a paradigm shift. Paradigm shift in the sense that if anybody is thinking that the state police will come so as to create a problem for people to be very, very far from the target. If anybody is thinking, any politician is thinking that state police will be coming so that they will use this for political aggrandizement of political benefit or election manipulation or what have you, intimidating.
That could also happen. That could also happen.
Of course, it will happen. But what we are saying is that the law in place, the law that will be put in place, will be the checks and balances.
Okay.
So that anybody who is there, anybody who violates the law, anybody who goes contrary to the people, okay, because the people have the supremacy, who face the sanction, And of course, I must commend the present IG. I am not saying this baby because the present IG is from Yewa, and I am a Yewa man. If you follow the trend, you could see that many bad eggs in the police force, they have been flushed out today. Some being dismissed, some disgraced out of the service. I hope and I'm praying that the trend will continue. So when we have functional laws and laws that are enforceable, we have nothing to fear. We have nothing to fear. But our society, I think will get there, and these are some of the ways to get there. I want to really commend the people sponsoring the bill. I pray that it's skillful and they will succeed in doing that.
Thank you so much. I mean, you've been able to dissect this topic very well to us today.
Thank you very much.
We're gradually coming to the end of the program, and you earlier stated you had some fears. So I'm just going to let you wrap up this segment with, pointing those fears out. Maybe someone watching could listen and do or provide solution or find a way to fix those fears if they might arise in the future.
Let me quickly highlight my fears. One of my fears is the issue of meritocracy. If there is a police, are we going to allow merit to prevail over mediocrity? Even at the national police now, there are inspectors of police that cannot write statement on the counter. How did they manage to get into the police force? There are people who cannot express themselves. How did they manage to get into the police force? There are people having the gun that you meet them on the road, they are already drunk. In fact, you have to use wisdom and say, Sean, so that no accidental discharge will occur. Mary, if they are coming on board, let there be a law that will enthrone meritocracy over mediocrity. That's number one. Number two, the issue that you have raised with is accountability. Who are they going to be accountable to? Are they going to be instrument in the hand of politicians? Are they going to be instrument that will be used for election manipulation? Are they going to be instrument that will be used for intimidation of opponents? Are they going to be instrument? These fears are there. Number three.
Thank you so much. Barrister, we have to go now.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
It's been a great time having you on the program today. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you very much.
This is how far we can go. To everyone watching. The program is You and the Law, where we bring you legal practitioners and we explore legal matters and how it affects our everyday lives. My name is Miriam Usman. I'll see you next week Wednesday, where I bring you another legal practitioner and we explore these topics for better understanding. Until then, bye for now.